You're listening to Be the Exception podcast, episode 196. Welcome back to Be the Exception in Special Education, where we throw conventional methods out the window and embrace innovative strategies to empower extraordinary learners. Ever tried and tested the spaghetti test in the kitchen? Well, today we're applying this concept to education with a twist. I'm your host, Dawn Ellis, and we're diving into the world of trauma-informed IEP goals. So imagine this, spaghetti clinging to the wall. It's ready, right? In our world, that's akin to finding the perfect approach for our students. We're tossing different methods until we find one that sticks. What really resonates with our unique learners is the perspective and insisting on high expectations and belief in our students' potential. In today's episode, we unraveled the challenges faced by students, especially those with neurodiversity and a trauma background. Their journey in academics and social interactions can be a tumultuous one, often hindered by the struggles in executive functioning and resilience. But here's the catch. IEPs often overlook trauma history, and that can be a roadblock to the pathway to success. We're talking about setting goals that truly meet our students where they are. Goals that emphasize not just academic achievements, but crucial life skills like executive functioning and the power of resiliency. Come join along in this episode where we talk about crafting trauma-informed plans, steering clear of deficit-based language, and setting realistic expectations. But wait, there's more. We delve into the nitty-gritty of executive function, the brain's toolbox of knowledge of application, and we talk about integrating these skills into IEPs, from enhancing attention and organization to boosting processing speed and memory. And let's not forget about resilience, the key ingredient for our special education recipe. We're exploring how IEPs can be defined, accommodated, and modified in order to nurture this vital skill. So grab your coffee and let's get ready to rethink, reshape, and redefine our approach to special education. This episode is a goldmine of strategies and insight for our special education teachers out there. Remember, we're not only teaching, we're transforming lives. Let's go ahead and jump on into today's episode.
Welcome to Be the Exception podcast. As teachers, each one of us has something that comes naturally to us that others would love to know more about. Throughout this podcast, we'll chat with amazing professionals and offer easily digestible tips that you can quickly implement in your classroom or business, helping you stand out with things you do really well. Your host, Dawn Ellis, is a qualified educational specialist with 10 years of special education experience, published journal articles, and was a state finalist for Elementary Teacher of the Year. Dawn provides tools for special education teachers to perform at their very best, helping deal with the frustrating daily obstacles of being an educator. She offers a roadmap of resources and strategies to make you a confident leader in your school and community. So if you're ready to start the conversation, learn from others, and grow together, you're in the right place. Now here's your host, Dawn Ellis.
Hey there, and welcome to another episode of Be the Exception podcast. My name is Dawn Ellis. I'm a National Board Certified Special Educator of 15 years, and I have my Education Specialist in Special Education as well, working in a variety of different settings from early childhood, self-contained, inclusion in elementary and intermediate level. I'm excited to have you here and chat about trauma-informed IEP goals that promote executive functioning skills and resiliency. If you are new here to the show, I'm honored that you are here to listen and learn. And if you've been around, I'm excited that you're back for another episode. At the time of this recording, it is middle of January, and it is sometimes overwhelming in the cold, and we have so many things we need to be doing. and the expectations in our classroom that we need just kind of a done for you content. And that's where the winter bundle comes in. Make sure and check that out over in my TPT store. It has task cards, color by number, adapted books, worksheets, and so much more. So make sure and check that out if you are needing activities for your winter. There's also a February Valentine's bundle that is available too if you're already thinking ahead to next month. And there's also a brand new special educator teacher tees in my Etsy shop. If you are a special education teacher, you need to check these out. They'll all be linked in the show notes, and it's also linked in all of my social media profiles. So make sure and check those out. All right, have you ever thrown spaghetti at a wall just to judge if the noodles were finished cooking? If the pasta is done, it will stick, and this is a metaphor that could describe meeting students where they are. Spaghetti that slides down when thrown at the wall may indicate that it needs more attention or more support for our students. It's about trying different approaches to develop the right expectations for our students. And this was said by Melissa Sadin, and she's an educational consultant and developmental trauma expert in New Jersey. She says then you believe in them and that you are holding the bar high. When students with disabilities face academic or social challenges for which they feel ill-equipped, some give up, avoid tasks, or even act out. These students, especially those with neurodiversity or trauma background, may exhibit poor executive functioning skills and struggle with resiliency, which is the ability to overcome and adapt to challenging situations. And a lot of times, IEPs that ignore trauma history may interfere with a student's progress. And as special educators, we should meet the students with disabilities where they are, setting goals that emphasize executive functioning skills and foster resiliency. So Sadin had some insights to craft trauma-informed plans, and we're going to just kind of talk through these steps in order to help students find more success when they are feeling like they can adapt and succeed. So number one is begin with a reasonable expectations. One part of trauma-sensitive approach is avoiding deficit-based language in IEPs. Shift educators' mindsets onto what students are capable of doing, instead of saying what a student won't do. Change the language that says that the student currently can't do something, she says. For example, a student with past trauma struggling with math might crumple his paper and storm out when the problems become too difficult. Understand that the student would not do that if he understood the math assignment. So with that in mind, educators should write accurate present levels of academic achievement and functional performance and goals without assuming resiliency that will spring up in the students overnight. Number two is reference executive functioning. Executive functioning skills are tools that our brain uses to process knowledge and then apply it. Executive functioning skills could be an issue with students with disabilities that doesn't understand the assignments. So if a student with a writing assignment gets frustrated when trying to complete it, and she sits in her seats and she interrupts her friends, but here's the good news. That's already taught in the classroom, and it can extend to the student's executive functioning. Teaching executive functioning grows the part of the brain that will allow the student to have task perseverance. So here are some trauma-informed tips for building executive functions into IEPs. Number one is attention. For attention-seeking students, include regulation tools in the IEP to increase attention and decrease sensitivity to sounds and touch. Number two is organization. Help students chunk assignments in an effort to organize tasks. Help students know where to begin and understand that tasks are not impossible and can be overcome. Number 3 is processing speed. This is regulate the way in which students process information through auditory or visual channels. And number 4 is memory. Work with students on their short-term memory. Do this through limiting auditory representations of multi-step directions and using visual representations instead. For students struggling with long-term memory, consider fill-in-the-blank questions or word boxes on test. When addressing resiliency, IEPs should include the word resiliency and define it. Then, IEPs need to specify the right kind of accommodations and or modifications. Whether a student's brain is atypical or neurodiverse, there's a lot of things that can be done to grow and connect the brain that allows for resiliency. So consider this process. It's process, product, content. Process refers to the way that students take in the information, whether it's verbal, visual, written, or performed. A process accommodation could provide written instructions to supplement verbal instructions. Product. Now, this involves a student that demonstrates what they know. A modification might be to allow the student to create a diorama in lieu of a written assignment. And then context. This represents the scope of the curriculum presented. A modification could mean broadening the curriculum to include teaching executive function skills. As we wrap up today's enlightening conversation about trauma-informed IEP goals, empowering students with resilience and executive functioning, it is clear that the journey of special education is both challenging and rewarding. Remember, every child has a unique story, and as educators, it is our privilege to be part of their learning journey. By embracing trauma-informed practices and focusing on executive functioning and resilience, we can make a profound difference in their lives. Special education is not just about meeting academic goals, but nurturing the whole child, considering their experiences, strengths, and areas of growth. The strategies and tips discussed in today's episode are more than just techniques. They're beacons of hope and progress for our students and a testament to the power of the dedication of educators like you. So as we close, I encourage you to reflect on how these insights can be integrated into your teaching practices. Think about how you can bring these trauma-informed approaches into IEPs and, most importantly, into the daily interactions of your students. Also encourage you to subscribe and share if you found value in today's episode. Please subscribe to our podcast and share with fellow special educators. You can even leave a review on the platform that you are listening to. Your support helps us reach more educators and create a bigger impact. Also, you can visit our website and join the Exceptional Collective if you need a community of passionate special education teachers. Here, you'll find resources, supports, training, and a network of educators dedicated to exceptional education just like you. Until next time, continue to be exceptional at all that you do.
Ooh.